Hey y'all, Dennis here and
Chrissy, Megan,
Muddy Water Search and Recovery. And this live feed is just on the Alex VanDalsen case where we want to work with you to finally determine if Alex committed suicide or if there is more to this case. I think we've been able to show the inconsistencies between the city police and the detectives' reports. And these are their incident reports that were done very early in the case, as well as inconsistencies with the coroner's report on the autopsy and the inconsistencies with that. And at any point, please comment on here your thoughts on this. And at some point, I will put my cell phone number in the comments to where if any of you want to call in, we'll put you on speakerphone, and that way it can be shared live as well. And we will discuss your thoughts and your findings on this case as well. And our original plans was to do the mini series and then do this live feed to kind of wrap it up. But at this point, and our findings in this, we can't really do that. We want to be able to help. Jennifer is Alex's mom. She may be jumping into the comments at some point, but we want to be able to help her throughout this. So, Chrissy, what are some of your thoughts on some of the things we've uncovered with this?
it's it's heartbreaking to me. I mean, this poor kid. He'd already been through so much, and then to me, it just sounds like nobody gives a crap about this poor kid. Law enforcement doesn't. The investigations don't sound like they give two craps. This is a human being. What if this was your child? I can't even fathom, what Jennifer has gone through, what Genesis has gone through. I can't. This case is just, it's hurt.
And I know we're not the only ones who have been helping and trying to find answers. One of the viewers, and again, I don't want to say the name of the person without his permission, but he has been digging into this and he has gotten a lot of information as well that has been so helpful with this. And the incomplete coroner report, a lot of tests could have been done, type of gun, GSR could have been tested on site. GSR is one of my big frustrations here because that test alone, and it only takes a couple minutes to do, would have determined if Alex had fired a firearm.
Right.
Okay, and Dan said it's okay. I have no problem. Dan is the man who has been working on this as well.
And amazingly, Dan, you are awesome. The information you're coming up with, dude, holy crap. You are amazing. Keep it up, dude. Woo.
And I got to talk to Dan on the phone the other night, and I can confirm, not just on his comments here or messaging back and forth, but Dan is the real deal. I got a lot of respect for him. And one of the things that Dan and I have both been working on is trying to get more information from law enforcement on this.
Hi, Laura.
The reports all show that the body cameras were activated, but they have refused access for anybody to have those. They've refused access to any further reports into this case. I'm one of those guys, if you've got nothing to hide, why hide it?
Me too. What's there to hide?
Yeah. And the inconsistencies, the firearm we have found out was the pink Muddy Girl camo. that the firearm that was found next to Alex.
Can I show the picture of that?
Yes.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring up a picture that his mom sent us. This is what it looked like, guys. Hopefully you can get a good look at it. Hi, Raven. Justice for Alex. Yes, ma'am.
So while this is obviously the pink Muddy Girl camo, the city police seem to be on target with it being pink, and the officer who done the forensics said pink camo, but the detectives kept describing this as a purple handled firearm.
Now I'm going to show you that picture again, and I'm going to get closer. It's mainly, well, I'm not going to show that one, but it's mixed. So would it match? Sorry, guys, we're kind of answering some questions here for each other here. That would be it because it's got it.
That does have a little bit of purple in it.
I don't know how much detail you can see through the camera, but it's mainly pink, but there is a little bit of purple on the handle, but that is pretty much what the weapon.
And the report reports the firearm as being a 9mm.
Yeah.
As we've discussed many times, the autopsy shows that what they called was the entrance wound was 6.5 by 6.0 centimeters, and the exit wound they had as 1.5 by 1.0 centimeters. That is backwards. Dan says, my other concern is none of the reports state that they question any property owners near scene in regards to gunshots. Yes, and Dan, I have been working on trying to get contact information. There is at least 6 houses that are definitely close enough to have heard something, and I want to get in contact with them. And it's tying up a lot of loose ends still, why we're not going to be able to kind of wrap it up fully with this live feed. And as we get more information through all of this, we will be sharing it with you. But somebody in one of those houses would have heard something that night, whether they reported it to law enforcement or not.
Right.
But I believe if asked, they would know if they did hear a firearm go off that night or not, or even see anything suspicious in another vehicle.
Because I mean, if you live in a neighborhood like that, you're going to notice things after a while that just aren't right. I mean, it's common sense.
And I'm hoping the reenactment video we done, I'm hoping that kind of sheds some light on how there's no way that this round went from right to left. There's no way the entrance hole is bigger than the exit hole. How far from the road? I don't have the exact measurement on that, Laura. Dan, I don't know if you know exactly how far from the road he was found. And then if Jennifer does come on here, she might have that information as well. Yeah, I don't believe I got that information. I know I had a map of the area that marks where he was found, and it didn't appear that it was very far from the road. But with that line of questioning, I don't know how much about that. I don't know much about guns, but even I know the difference between the enter and exit. Exactly.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
No more than 100 yards. Hang on. That's what I was thinking, was it was less than 100 yards. And with this on the road leading into the place, the parking area, all of that was still covered with snow, but the plow driver was actually plowing the walking trail. So that kind of...
Just going to interrupt real quick.
Okay. Yeah, Jennifer is watching, but she's unable to comment tonight.
Is there a way?
Which is
Do you-
fine.
Which
Which is fine,
absolutely-
Jennifer. Absolutely. We just thank you for joining us tonight.
Alex only weighed 90 pounds. Yes, he
Yes.
weighed 90 pounds, 5 foot tall and 90 pounds.
Any other comment?
And gunshots have a very distinctive sound as well. Yeah, if you hear a gunshot, you will know that's absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's a distinctive sound. Absolutely.
And I question why the walking trail is being plowed and not the parking area or the drive. And I wish I could share the picture of the area of where Alex was found off the trail, but I'm still curious how somebody driving a snowplow through there is going to see something, see an indentation in the snow, possibly see boots.
Yeah.
Because the trail, from what I could tell, the trail goes down and continues to the left, and he was found on the right.
Mm.
So without looking over the passenger
Right.
side,
Right.
that one still concerns me. I'm not saying I believe the snowplow driver is involved in any way, but this is just something that was kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he did not have his inhaler with him.
Right. Which that amazed me because poor kiddo, I mean, he couldn't go very far without that inhaler. And when I found out he didn't have it, I thought, oh my goodness, what? So that was a shock to me when I heard that one.
And we come into this with the mindset that if we try to say that if we're trying to prove that this is not suicide, we're going to be able to find any little thing to
Right.
go with that. So we come into this trying to prove that Alex did commit suicide, because to us, that's a little bit harder because none of us want to think that
Oh, God.
somebody done that.
It's bad enough if you get that thought that it might be suicide, but to think somebody else did it.
Dan said, I spoke with his mom about taking video when it snowed this year, also to see if it got plowed the same way. Raven said Alex always had his inhaler with him, even when he came to my house.
Hi, Jennifer. There is Alex's mom.
Technical difficulties. but
Thanks
I
for
am here
joining
now.
us, honey. We're glad you're here.
And Jennifer, through all of this, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And anything you need us to do to help you on this, please reach out to us. We will do everything in our power to help you.
Yeah, you best believe that.
And Megan, I know I said I wouldn't.
Megan's battling a little
Kinda.
head cold here, so she's not 100%, but
Yeah, my throat's killing me, so I'm trying not to talk very much.
So can you give just a short thought on this?
Well,
you're very welcome, honey.
I don't even know how.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's fine.
I don't even know how to begin with this one because everything points to, oh, it's definitely suicide. No, it's not. In my heart, it is. He did not commit suicide because nothing after doing research, it's not it. And I just don't know. I wish they would have done a better job of it, actually done their job,
Right.
but I don't know. It's all heartbreaking no matter what the outcome is because he is gone. But Jennifer, we would like to solve this for you.
And I do not believe that, period.
Yeah.
Raven,
Yeah, I don't either.
when we
Yeah.
started doing this, I didn't want to try to push my thought off in this, but I will be 100% honest. In my opinion, with all the research we've done on this and the work we've done, I will tell you, I 100% believe Alex was murdered. There is no way this was suicide. Not one piece of evidence points to suicide. Everything is contrary. Even let's go with the 1.5 by 1.0, what they call the exit wound, what we all know would be the entrance wound.
Right.
That's your first red flag right there.
That is huge red. That's a huge red flag.
There is not a 9mm round that is going to make an entrance or exit wound there's not an entrance going to take place from a 9mm round that's 1.5 by 1.0. That is bigger than the round itself.
Right.
However, a 45 caliber will make an entrance hole that is 1.5 by 1.0 centimeters. It will make an exit wound that can be 6.5 by 6.0 millimeter. And with a full metal jacket round, known as FMJ, or with it would be kind of like a standard target round. Those are normally solid core. They're not going to fragment, so there's going to be no fragmentation, and it's still going to leave those diameters. My opinion is this was done with the 45 caliber, not a 9mm. And being they're saying that was a 9mm found there next to Alex, there is a second firearm involved, and in my opinion, at least one other person involved in this.
Oh, 300.
121 yards from the closest house, 321 yards from the road. So 121 yards, you're easily going to hear.
You're going to hear something. Right.
Excuse me.
And 321 yards from the road is where Alex was found. Knowing the actual yardage now, why is the snowplow driver that deep in plowing when you still got the parking area to plow as well?
Oh.
Jennifer says that was my biggest issue when I started reading reports. Tried to make it make sense, but could not get the entrance and exit to come out their way.
Right. Can the family take all the discrepancies?
Yeah, Laura says, can the family take all of the discrepancies, refusals, protocols not followed to the prosecutor? Jennifer confirms the roads and parking areas were not plowed. Raven says, I live on a busy highway and I can still hear a gun being shot.
Absolutely.
And Jennifer can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that she has worked and tried to do this. Jennifer says, basically at this point, I had irritated them all and no one speaks to me. Good old boys club in this county. And Dan said he plowed 336 yards from the entrance of the trail to Alex. So he's plowing the trail, but not anything where driving a vehicle is going to get you in there.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, that is absolutely so sad.
Yeah.
And Jim, I'm going to jump on this. Jim asked what's going on with the Randy Leach case. We do have a episode coming out at 9 a.m. in the morning, and we go over that case.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that one.
Genesis says, I will never believe he did this to himself. Nothing points to suicide with the reports and information. Genesis, I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely,
Everything shows contrary to suicide.
The van couldn't even get to him.
And Laura says, as a mother who lost a son, I would be standing in doorways.
Right. That's what I would, in a heartbeat.
And Jennifer says, body removal van could not get to Alex due to the snow and not being plowed. I remember reading that in the report. They did move Alex out in the back of one of law enforcement's trucks to get to the body removal van. So again, it goes, I I am working to see, I'll just be honest
Right.
with this.
Yeah.
I'm working to see if this snowplow driver has any connections to a couple people that we are looking at on this. Jennifer said I would be in jail, which is fine, but would not find answers. Exactly.
Right. Absolutely. I'd be right there with you. It's ridiculous.
And her going to jail over this, not going to find answers. It's going to cause more problems. But Jennifer is doing everything that she can to get answers on this.
Damien, you just wrote, I used to do snow removal and you plow all parking lots first, then sidewalks. But is that every state? It may be different.
That should be common sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
Right. Why? Oh, I'm sorry.
Dan said, I have been shut down by every person in law enforcement when I mentioned the case. And we are in that same boat
Right.
with you, Dan. And Jennifer, yes, why plow the trail that is hardly used? Genesis says, my big thing right now is I'm always going to wonder who picked him up. Whoever he trusted that night should pay for this.
Yes.
And Genesis,
I know, honey. I know.
that first caught our attention when we found out that search dogs had come out. And the search dogs got there roughly 40 hours after Alex had went missing, followed his trail down the road, I believe 0.3 of a mile, and lost his scent. The search dog has a history of trailing after 48 hours, so it's well within the timeline. And to lose the scent there and not pick it up, it's very obvious that he got in a vehicle. Dan, I had to use a secret email address to get a reply from coroner.
That's ridiculous.
Jennifer, he trusted everyone. That's the issue. He was way too trusting, even in people who had previously wronged him. Saying,
God.
Alex, from what I have seen looking into this, was it a really
A hell of a good
Good
kid.
guy.
Absolutely.
And it's heartbreaking that law enforcement would not do their job.
See, it's always people like that who get treated the worst.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
And Raven says, I agree. He was way too trusting, such a huge heart. And any of you wonder why we're reading these off? We have some viewers from other areas that when they watch the video later, they don't get to see the pop-ups. So we read it so they know what we're responding to.
Hey, Catfish.
Hey, Bobby.
How you doing, Catfish Bob?
Excuse me.
But no, I get that way sometimes. Your heart's just too big, and then you think, oh, well, that just went completely the opposite way of the way it should have been. I was way too trusting or way too willing, and then you get your heart stomped on. Oh, yeah.
And then the snow. The law enforcement said that they don't believe anybody else was in the area because the footprints that was in the area had a covering of snow over them.
Right.
But Alex had a layer of snow over him as well because they got a dusting of snow 2 or 3 times in this time frame. So how are they going to rule the footprints out because there's snow on them? That was another big red flag to me that they just didn't honestly want to do their job.
And that amazes me because, like I said, this is a human being. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if this is not such a big case to you. Oh, it's just another kid. It is another kid. That family's waiting for answers. This just aggravates me and just to no end.
Raven said he had such a huge heart. He drove an hour at 3 a.m. to help me with my sick pup in the storm.
Oh,
Fresh snow or settled snow?
There was, I believe, roughly a foot of snow on the ground. And then they had a few days of dusting.
whoa.
Dan says I had definitely feel he was picked up, I also had my thought on who, but going to keep that between Jennifer and, of course,
Right,
Dennis.
Right.
And Dan, I am with you.
Yeah.
I believe we're on the same page there.
Yep.
Genesis says, but no one will ever come forward. Alex was an amazing and smart kid. He just loved being there for people no matter what. I had asthma myself and couldn't barely walk around to search for him.
God, now I'm getting all teary-eyed. This is killing me.
And Laura asked in the coroner's report, could they tell how long he had been there? Laura, I did not see that in the report. The report itself that I read was still somewhat very vague, and just the whole thing was pointed towards suicide. Jennifer says the coroner refused to even attempt to suggest or calculate a time.
That's
Really?
all
Damn it,
part
what
of
did
this. That is
Yeah.
part of the job.
And if we're talking law enforcement, these are detectives, we're talking a coroner, and they couldn't so much as get the entrance and exit wound right. You know, how do they have a job?
Right.
Laura says, Dan says it was half-assed done report, 100%
Yes.
agree.
Right.
Jennifer said, I was told their procedure was just to call date and time of death as when he was found.
Are you kidding me?
I-
Oh my
That is the
God.
first I have ever heard of a coroner coming out with that. And by the way that it appears he done his job, that is not surprising. The type of gun wasn't even in the report. That's right. Now in the city police reports, when it's the officer doing the forensics, he did mention the type of gun, and that's in that report. But that was the only time that was ever mentioned. And Jennifer said, nope, that's their story. Jennifer, I go so far as to say that's their pack of lies.
Oh, absolutely.
Bobby says, it sounds to me they took their training at Northport, Florida. Some police there. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to have all the respect in the world for law enforcement and everybody who does stuff that is involved with law enforcement. But going through some of the cases that we have, and especially this one, I have lost so much faith in them.
And I agree with Megan. Why is it so difficult for them to do a thorough job anymore? Why? Why is it such a big deal?
I mean, I understand
Are
with
you
all the
kidding?
crap going on in the world right now, police don't want to do their jobs. But
Right. Yep, I agree, Raven.
And let's see. Laura said, I'm still waiting on my son's autopsy report after 4 months. That's
Are you kidding me, Laura?
ridiculous. And how can they be withholding it for 4 months?
Right.
Exactly. That's
they don't. They do not care.
They'll get to you when they get to you.
It doesn't matter if you have something against the person. Like if you know them personally, it doesn't matter. This is what you signed up to do. You need to do it.
Right. See, I couldn't be in law enforcement.
No, I
Oh God, I couldn't be
No.
in law enforcement. No.
I'd always be in trouble.
Oh yeah. No, it's not.
short
Jennifer's-
staff
yeah,
is not an excuse.
exactly.
Absolutely not.
Exactly, Raven.
And Laura said that on
Right.
her son, they said they are short staffed.
Doesn't matter.
They don't care unless it's someone they care about, period. Yes. And
And see, that's what I said too, sweetheart. Genesis just said, what if it was their kid?
yes.
Exactly.
They would
That's
be
why
all over
this
it.
why this is so heartbreaking to me, because my youngest is gay and kind of in the same boat in a way. And it breaks my heart. What if that was my child out there? That's why this is just killing me. Because that poor thing it's killing me.
And Alex seems like such a good, decent person.
Oh. Dan.
Oh, Dan.
The forensic pathologist has time to make TikTok videos but can't do a proper report. Yes. And if you message him, try to contact him, anything, you are either blocked and definitely no response.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't even find him anymore on there. I think I was blocked. And he has YouTube channel too. I'm going to have to check that out. I have not seen that yet. So I will have to find the YouTube channel.
Wow, I can't believe that.
And just like the vehicle that was stuck in the snow there, they could have easily done tests on that to see if it was connected. And the guy told him that his girlfriend drove the car back in there and got stuck.
Right.
The girlfriend told law enforcement that her boyfriend drove back there to
And what was
smoke
that
a
about?
joint.
Let's take, rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first.
Then now the guy did agree and went with an officer to the police station to make a report, but that could still just be considered like circumstantial, even hearsay, because you could say what you're going to say and not admit the truth, given a statement, and then to just be released and they had no part of it. I don't know that they're connected, but I find that very, very concerning. They didn't do any more to double check that.
Well, honey, I guarantee you they've been lying to y'all this whole time.
Yeah, they were supposed to check his phone and try and see deleted things or anything he tried to hide, but I don't believe they really did that. They've been lying this whole time.
And that was Genesis, by the way, that wrote that. So, oh yeah, I agree with you 100%, sweetheart. There is, and that's what like I said. Why? Why are you lying about this? Why are you not giving two craps? Are you kidding? I don't get it. If you're not going to if you don't want to do your job anymore, find a new job. Give it to somebody that actually gives a crap.
And I believe so strongly there's a second firearm involved and somebody else involved. And generally, in a case like that, the firearm is generally thrown into a body of water. I am to the point that if answers aren't found by this spring, I am coming to Indiana and I'm searching these bodies of water for a firearm that can tie into this case.
Yeah.
Jennifer says the car was very weird, different stories. None of it added up.
Right.
Even if not involved directly, they may have known something.
Right.
And Jennifer says, but they only hire those that will be part of their good old boys club. It definitely seems that way. Dan said, I believe the only way to get transparency is bringing it to feds. Jen and Dennis know why.
Yes.
And I agree with that. And Laura, I am proud of everyone here that is here to stand up for this young person. And, Jennifer, I believe, has been doing great trying to get answers on this. Dan has been doing incredible. And when you come across something like this, my question is, how can somebody not want to help?
Right. Raven, I have my ideas on who is involved just because how I seen how they acted and talked. Oh, honey.
They're acting funny. That's pure guilt.
Right.
That is true.
Oh.
Catfish Bob says you can look into an old tree like a hole big enough to put a gun in. Good luck. I hope if someone did harm him, they will be held responsible. Absolutely. Genesis says, Alex always told me when I was sad or feeling really down and he didn't tell me anything. He just stopped texting me. My heart and head know he should still be here. I had my own ideas as well, especially after we announced he was missing and people acted weird.
I'm so sorry, sweetheart, that you had to to deal with all that.
You know, if they would have done their job, those people would already be put away.
Yes, exactly, Genesis. He always called me or showed up to my home. See, Alex just comes across as a loving, kind-hearted, decent person.
And that's why this is just so unbelievable. Who could? Sorry.
And you take the fact that somebody done this to Alex, as if that's not bad enough. You have law enforcement not doing their jobs, excuse after excuse, if they even bother to respond back. I mean, what do you even say at that point?
I mean, I know everybody probably is still in shock. They would have to be. And this poor Jennifer and Genesis and everybody else that's involved, God, they need answers so bad.
See, I don't cry a lot.
This
But
one has killed me.
this case, Alex, Jennifer, Genesis, I've cried on this one multiple times. It's so heartbreaking. The law enforcement had the case decided before doing investigation. Dan, I'm 100% agreeing with you there. And that is very, very evident in the initial incident report from the detective when Alex went missing. Right off the bat, they thought they had this figured out. Someone knew how he was feeling that night and took advantage of him and his kindness.
That's what breaks my heart.
Yes.
That breaks my heart the most.
And Jennifer says, yes, they did. They were biased. And Damien says also the entrance and exit are straight across. Don't see that possible pulling the trigger himself.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is a good point, Damien. 90 pounds. He's got bad wrists and hands that's got arthritis. There's no way he's going to be able to take that shot straight across. The recoil itself would have caused that to come up at an angle. Raven, I had to explain this to my children because all of this.
Well, I'm sorry, honey, that you had to do that. But
See, and people don't realize if you've got something against somebody and you go out and you murder them, you don't realize you're not just affecting that person. You're not just affecting their family. You're affecting their friends. You're affecting people that never even knew the person, but comes across it down the road. This just carries on. You affect so many people.
Yeah, but they don't care.
Someone will pay and we will get answers 100%.
absolutely.
And we will do everything in our power to help you get there.
I don't care how long this takes. We're going to get somewhere.
And Genesis says, and he was right-handed, didn't use his left hand for anything. And during the reenactment, we tried to reenact out if he had turned his head and
Yeah.
tried this way.
Right.
And
Do you
there
remember
was,
I had it like this? That was very difficult to hold. That
Yeah.
was beyond difficult to hold. And it took everything I had in my arm to keep it as straight as possible. It cannot be done.
no. And then the recoil itself, especially at that angle, would have been way off. And Catfish Bob says, what hurts my feelings is the police took an oath to uphold the law, but yet they won't take the responsibility to do their job. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely, Bobby.
And Dan says, no, it would have taken 2 hours and 36 minutes to walk there from home.
And in that temperature,
He would have froze before he even
Right.
got there.
that temperature, what he had on, his weight, and no inhaler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no
he
way.
walked that.
There is no way.
My opinion, everything in the coroner's or the autopsy report and 99% of what's in the police reports is fabricated. The only thing I'm finding in the reports that to me have any truth is Alex is no longer here and there was a firearm found beside Alex. That is the only things I could say is really honest in these reports. Everything else, I mean, anybody can look at these and read through it. I 100%, Alex, my opinion, Alex did not commit suicide. And Jennifer, I will be emailing you a full report of all of our findings. I'm going to go into every little detail that I can, get that sent over to you in hopes that it can help get this reopened. Genesis says, and if he had actually planned to do this to himself, he wouldn't have bundled up. Why would you do that if you planned on leaving the world?
See, when this first came across, though, Genesis, when I heard that he walked, he was bundled up, and I thought, okay, it's free. It's what? What was the temperature?
It was
20-some degrees.
Yeah, it was under 20
It was under-
degrees.
Okay. So maybe he bundled up because he knew he had a long walk ahead of him. And then it dawned on me, he didn't take his inhaler. So my automatic first thought was he has no intention of coming home. But that was thrown out the window shortly after.
Yeah.
But that was my first thought, honey. I really did think he bundled up because he knew what he had to do. He wanted to get there. He didn't want to have anything stop him, not even the cold. And
No,
It's-
that's-
with 25 mile per hour winds outside.
Yes.
And as I was stating earlier, we come into this trying to prove this is suicide because that's what law enforcement would have had to have done. And we're trying to not only try to find the same conclusion as them, but how and why. And it was impossible. This is going to be kind of hard to see. Well, I can't, that ain't even going to do it justice. It's going to look really expanded on here. I was going to try to show you the size of the entrance and exit. Yeah, go ahead and hold it up and
Okay.
see if it can.
Okay, this bottom one is the entrance. Very tiny. It's not even, it's super tiny. There's the exit though. And you guys can pretty much tell the difference. Entrance, exit.
They said this was the entrance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the entrance, that's the exit. There's no way.
No, and a 9mm.
No.
A 9mm hollow point isn't even going to have an exit wound that big.
And see, Raven, with what you just put, you said, I'm sorry Alex wouldn't have done it and not texted people he loved them or at least goodbye. See, I wondered about that.
Yes.
And I thought, there's no way. He would have at least left a note maybe for mom or to Genesis or a friend, somebody. And for him not to, that was my other giveaway. I'm like, what? So.
Wrong.
912. What are you doing?
Bear with me just a second, guys. Can't even type my own phone number. And then
Nope.
again.
Now,
Okay. I put my cell phone number in here. If anybody has thoughts on this and you want to call it, we could put it on speakerphone and that could be shared on
Absolutely.
here. If not, that's okay, but we just wanted to give that option as well.
right.
And Jennifer said, yes, he would have at least left
Right.
a note. He loved writing and he never went 24 hours without talking to me. And that is something else that I look at when we're working on a case. And most of ours is missing persons cases. So I kind of look at the relationship between the person and the family. And I've done this on this case, and what I'm seeing is they had a very close relationship.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Catfish Bob says the small hole that's been fired regardless from a handgun or a rifle, an inner hole is always smaller. Exactly.
That's just common. I mean,
And I grew up around firearms. I'm
Me
an
did
avid
too.
hunter. Their dad was
oh yeah.
very knowledgeable, passed it on to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, anybody who's been around a firearm, they're going to tell you the entrance hole is always smaller. And I mean, even science, you can't get around that. So why they come out with this story, they could have at least tried to make it believable. Jennifer says they tried to claim because it was contact wound, it was different. And Jennifer, I did read in the autopsy report where the doctor said that they could see what appeared to be the imprint of the firearm against the right temple. The problem with that is what they're calling the entrance hole on the right temple is actually bigger around than the barrel of the firearm itself.
I mean, it's
So-
just common sense. Yeah.
His excuse does not add up regardless.
I thought it was just a typo.
I did
Like
too. I
that-
thought
that can't be
somebody
right.
made a mistake, but when all the other reports kept coming in that was accurate, I thought, no,
There's no way.
no, flat out, I'll argue with you. No.
And Dan says, I can't even get a return call from the city in regards to them plowing trails before plowing roads. And Jennifer says, I think they believe that the average person would not have wanted to read that autopsy. Or if they did, they would just believe what they said and not look at it anymore. And I agree with you there, Jennifer. And it's heartbreaking that they would this whole thing. Catfish Bob says, well, I'm a Vietnam War veteran. I know how to see a wound on a person. And Jennifer says, yes, his excuse was BS. All their stories
Yes.
were.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
Then the
Yeah.
imprint wound would not have been present with the kick of the firearm.
Exactly.
Thank you. Right there.
And Jennifer, my husband was in the Army 22 years, and I've spent my whole life around firearms.
So it's just common
Common
sense.
The story they're trying to feed you is,
Complete.
it's a slap in the face of itself. I mean, how they could expect somebody to be that basically ignorant.
Right. Did they think that you would just take it and go, okay, well, this is fine. At least I got something. No, it's common sense. We're not stupid.
I mean, like she said, they just wrote it thinking people, okay, they'll just go along with it. But that's your child. You're going to go at no end.
And
Right.
here we go,
Yeah.
Jennifer. Plus my bachelor's in criminology. They should have done their background on us at least.
Right.
Yes.
Which is another thing. You told me about that the other day. They didn't interview, usually in a circumstance like this, and there's a child, they automatically put mom or dad or whoever as possible
Suspect.
prime suspects.
And Jennifer says I
they
worked with
didn't.
some of them
Or they didn't.
when I was a corrections officer and finishing my degree. They should have known.
Right. Right.
It-
That's part of their job. They're supposed to look at the family going, okay, tell us everything you know, or we need to know where you were and what this was and so on and so on.
Yes. Failed to even run background on us.
Yeah.
See, and that's another thing that's protocol, as
Yeah,
you're
it's-
saying.
And Denny, it's protocol. It is part of your job. You have to do that. I mean, what is so wrong with this case that they're like, oh, well, he shot himself. Okay.
Because they went on the fact that he was depressed and all that stuff.
Oh, and I
So
know.
They automatically, it's
That was-
suicide.
Yeah. I mean, Alex did have some depression, but he was too sweet of a kid he had so much support and love that
The only person they
Mm-mm.
question is the guy with the stuck car. And Dan, you mentioned it just a bit ago. I think we're on the same page on who we think is responsible for this. And I'm not going to release my thoughts on who I think it is publicly, but it would explain why law enforcement didn't do their jobs. Yeah. It would explain why this is coming up. Because initially, it appears that the city police wanted to investigate this case, but the detective seems to be the one who's coming in and telling them, hey, guys, don't worry about it. We had it. This is just clear-cut suicide. Of course. And wash their hands of it. Yeah. Jennifer says they failed to even get accurate story on the car that was stuck. Right. And Raven, he would have never hurt any one of us like that, no matter how depressed he was. And that's something that I've kind of picked up on him, is he's not going to hurt you guys like that. He's not going to hurt his mom. He's not going to hurt anybody close to him. And Jennifer says, yes, it looked like the city began to investigate until the county stepped in and said, no, suicide, we're done.
Let's see. If I was on that team right there, I'd have been like, okay, excuse me, I don't care. Get out of my way. I got work to do.
And Jennifer says he always tried to take care of others before himself. We argued about that.
Jennifer, I just, I can't even imagine what you've gone through. Sorry. Just know that we love you.
And I agree. One of them should have stepped up knowing it didn't make sense. Genesis said, I argued with him about it too. He was always trying to help me and not himself. Joanne says, sounds like someone with the county is protecting someone. The person that I feel really strongly is connected to this, that seems like that would be the case.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, I will be sending you all of the detailed information on that and releasing every single thing that we've uncovered to you. But I don't want to give all of those little details out publicly. And Jennifer says someone is protecting someone for sure, family ties to the police. And that is what we have been uncovering as well. And Damien sounds like someone is protecting someone.
Absolutely.
And it's...
Denny is so worked up right now. This used to be a paper clip.
Yeah, it was a paper clip.
I mean, he's just as bad as I am right now.
When we first started getting into search and recovery, I asked around to other teams, to law enforcement, to get advice on what to do to prepare for this. And the number one thing that was consistent was you have to learn to turn off your emotions and not become emotionally attached. I do not have that ability. I don't want that ability. And as you dig into a case, you begin to emotionally get attached to the person, to their family, etc. And this case just, it frustrates me to no end. At this point, if they'd done their jobs, they could already have the guilty party behind bars, but they did not do it.
Right. Oh.
Raven says, Jen, have you brought up the person we talked about from the funeral? Catfish Bob said the police found something and they are a hush-hush deal.
Right. Yeah.
And Jennifer says it only works for so long, even if you can. I'll tell you, I will never be able to turn off emotions, especially when you start getting into corrupt law enforcement officers. Not sure, Raven. I believe I have looked at everyone that we know possible. This makes 3 or 4 cases that we're working on that is very clear that there is corruption in law enforcement. And those get me even more because these are the people that we depend on when we need help. Dan says it's probably the same person we're thinking. That's kind of the gut feeling I'm getting, Dan.
Yeah.
And Dan says if you don't have a heart, you don't have
Thank
feelings.
you.
That sums it up right there.
Every time Denny and I discuss things on the phone, that's all I think of is the law enforcement nowadays. How do these people not have hearts? How can they not give 2 craps? Or just, here you go, I'm done. There's my report. Seriously? What if this was your family member? What if this was your kid? I can't get over this.
Seeing, I have family that's law enforcement. I have seen them break down and cry after getting home from coming across something very bad. I've seen the emotion they bottle up and it comes out when they get home. How somebody can turn around and not feel any of that to the point that they can come up with the lies that they have fed Jennifer. It's beyond me. Dan says they in it for the paycheck, not their oath. Jennifer says I can hold it together briefly to focus on aspects or look for facts, but I have to stay very focused or very angry.
I hear you, honey. I hear you.
I'd be angry all the time.
I would be too. I would. Oh,
it's just heartbreaking that a mother has to go through this. They don't even care about the paycheck as much as they do the control and the feeling of importance.
If they wanted to feel more important, then they probably should have done more of a job. I thought that would get them higher up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, with that, this seeming like the good old boys club.
Yeah, that's. Exactly, Laura. Laura just said one person in law enforcement needs to have a spine and stand by themselves if that's what it takes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then Jennifer, yes, they should have.
And Dan, I'm still working to see if the plow driver has any connections with who we're thinking about on this. Dennis, you have magnets in the boat, right? Look around the countryside, old bridges from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a gun, it will be around in the old bridge before a newer bridge. And Jennifer says the plow driver was nice enough to delete his Facebook after I attempted to make contact. See, that was very, very, that is what really concerned me, Jennifer, was when he done that.
Yeah.
And Bobby, yeah, we do have several big magnets. And if things aren't found by spring, we will be taking a road trip down there and searching for a firearm. Damien says, yes, exactly. Step up and solve the case. Jennifer says he's a city worker.
Yeah.
A city job.
Yeah.
So that itself gives him ties to law enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
The plow driver.
Yeah.
And the person that we have in mind that I believe is responsible, we find has connections with law enforcement.
Yeah.
Either part of their club or fear it.
Right.
Well, Jennifer, hopefully we can get that club shut down. And in my opinion, that club needs to be behind bars. If you know somebody that goes out and murders somebody and you cover for them and law enforcement finds out you covered, guess what? You're going to be behind bars with the person that murdered an individual. The
Right.
same should go for law enforcement, especially in this type of case.
Sorry, my wheels are turning here.
Yeah, Megan's got this look on her face like she's thinking of something, and it's bugging me. Spit it out, sister.
No,
Oh, okay.
I'll discuss it later.
Well, quit doing that. God.
And Jennifer, if there is anything more we can do, let us know. Catfish Bob says not going to stay on here much longer. 4 a.m. comes early and deer stands. Not no warmer. But Catfish, best of luck.
Absolutely.
Get a hold of me. Let me know how that goes tomorrow. And Jennifer, even after this live feed, we're not stopping on this case.
Mm-mm.
And as we uncover even more information, we will be getting those full details sent over to you. We're not done with this case until this case is reopened and the cause of death has been changed. Dan, I will try to figure out how to reach out to the person of interest, neighbors at his new place, and see if that person left around the time frame. That would be awesome.
Jennifer, know that you're family now, honey. So we're not going to stop. We're going to help you figure this out. It has to be figured out.
And
Oh, okay.
And-
That's what I thought too.
And Jennifer, do you have any idea if there was any connection with the plow driver to Alex? Like mutual friends, anything like that?
Not that I am aware of, she
Okay.
said.
I didn't think there would be a connection with Alex, but I still think the plow driver could be a piece of this. I think the stuck car could be a piece to
A
this.
diversion.
And I think the person some of us have in mind is a piece of this. That driver has a huge family in that area. So with this, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. If anybody has any questions on this, we are going to continue working on this as well. He could have been decent enough to at least say, I don't want to be involved or I can't answer anything, not just delete Facebook. Jennifer, typically, when it comes to how he done that, typically it's because they're hiding something. And Dan said some of them work together at a car repair shop. See,
Jeez.
Dan has done incredible work
Yeah.
on this. But we will be continuing 100% digging into this, trying to find more answers, keeping Jennifer up to date. We'll get our full report to her, then we will keep her up to date as other things progress with this. I know Dan will as well. And we are not going to let up on this until this is fixed.
And with that being said, Jennifer and Genesis, we love you. Keep
Right.
hanging in there, okay?
If you guys ever need somebody to talk to, somebody to vent to,
Absolutely.
you
Please
got
contact.
3 people
Yeah,
right here.
absolutely.
Be more than happy.
And Miss Raven.
And Miss Raven, sorry.
Yes. And there's been a lot of people viewing this live with us tonight. any of you, if you ever need to talk about something, get something off your chest, anything, we are here. Know we are here. We may not know you personally, but we will not hesitate to take the time to speak with you. There is one of us available at all times. And Damien says deleting Facebook makes you look suspicious, though, 100%. So with this, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to everybody. Reach out to us if you ever need us. Jennifer, we will keep you updated as we continue our investigation into this. Thank you all for being on here tonight with us, for contributing in the conversation with this. And anything else you guys would like to add?
Just hang in there. We're gonna figure this out.
So with that, you guys stay safe, and we will see you guys down the road.
Oh my God.